This is Tom Tuziant with Start with the House. This training is titled The Cart Goes Before the Horse and basically shows you a way to change your home buying process. The typical home buying process is a person goes out, they look at houses over a period of time, they fall in love with a particular house, make and negotiate an offer on it which gets accepted, and then they start thinking about financing. So their agent gives them a few business cards of different mortgage lenders. They might jump on the internet and search around to see who's got the best rates, and they choose a mortgage based on the quoted rates they're given. And then they enter what we call beat the clock to close, and that is when a person does sign a contract to buy a house, they start a clock ticking to that closing. And during that time, they still have to do all the normal things with life, such as commuting to work and working and taking care of special projects at work and taking care of the kids and doing the laundry and shopping for groceries and cooking meals or going out to eat and things like that. But they've also got to handle inspections, maybe making some repairs on the house they're selling. They got to pack things up. They got to change their address. They got to get kids registered in new schools, maybe deal with some extra emotions and stress of that move. And added on top of that, a lot of people also are trying to go through this process of getting a mortgage approved, which is not as easy as it used to be. And all during that time, they're just hoping there's no surprises and they get to that magical closing date with no problems in there. And unfortunately, there's several possible outcomes from doing that strategy that really don't have to happen based on what decisions people make. But unfortunately, we've seen people end up house poor and cash starved. They buy a house that doesn't fit their needs, whether it's too big or too small. The problem with if it's too small, they find themselves wanting to move a year later. They're unhappy in their house and they've got to go through the whole transaction and all the stress of moving again. The biggest problem is they limit their financial flexibility when they don't think about having a mortgage plan because they made a rush decisions. Not sure of the tax benefits and the tax consequences of owning a house, and unfortunately sometimes feeling trapped in the wrong house or the wrong mortgage. There is a much better process to that. Consulting with a certified mortgage planner ahead of time, developing a mortgage plan for the eventual house, and then use that mortgage plan to determine the right price of the house or the right price range so that you fall in love with the correct house. You see, there's a difference that buying a house and getting a mortgage are totally different things. Can quickly prove that to you is that when someone refinances their mortgage, they don't have to buy a house, they already have. So a refinance is obviously totally different from buying a house. Well, if you think about it, when you buy a house, if you totally separate the mortgage decision, you got a much better chance of success. So plan your mortgage first and then go find the right house. A mortgage and a will. Unfortunately, a lot of people today don't have wills. At least they don't believe they have a will. But what really happens is that if you don't have a will, the state has one for you. The problem is it just may not be the best will for you or your heirs. It may be a better will for the state's needs. Well, if you choose a mortgage without having a plan for that mortgage, what you've done is chosen the mortgage plan that the mortgage company made for you. And that plan may not be in your best interest. So choosing a mortgage and having a plan for your mortgage instead of using somebody else's plan is always going to be the better way to go for you. So let's get started. If you have any questions about this, you're thinking about buying a house, then let's talk about getting the mortgage first and then buying the right house for you. You can learn more at startwiththehouse.com.